Hello and welcome to another episode of the Agency Leadership Podcast. I'm Chip Griffin.
And I'm Gini Dietrich.
And Ginny, I think I need to make some sacrifices for this show. I
Oh,
think that
goody.
I need to make my life more painful so that yours is better.
Even better. Yes. Okay. Great. I have a
Because
whole list of things you can do.
I I have no doubt. A few of them might even relate to the show, right?
Probably not. Like
No,
laundry.
none of them would relate
Laundry's
to
on
the
the
show.
list. Meal planning's on the list. All sorts of things.
Oh, meal planning.
Oh, sure. Laundry. Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that. In any case, before I dig any kind of a hole for myself here beyond what I already have, the real topic is the sacrifices that owners make for their businesses for reasons that aren't always good
Mm.
and don't make a lot of sense if you're building an actual business that you want to own.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We've all done it. We've all done it. But I think we do need to make a mindset shift.
It's
And
so
we
hard.
need to stop saying things like, I don't want to ask my team to do this, so I'm going to do it myself. Or my team, they would struggle with this, so I'll just handle it. Or the worst one, the one that's most common is, I need to make sure I'm paying my team fairly. I don't really have enough, so I'm going to just, underpay myself.
Yep.
The number of sacrifices that many owners make is extreme and poorly thought out.
Yep.
They solve problems for today, but create problems for the future.
Yeah, and I will even say, I am super, super guilty of that. Not the money one. I've learned that lesson and I pay myself a living wage. But the rest of it, I'm very guilty of. And I spend most of my weekends getting caught up on work. And just today we're recording, it's a Monday, I sat down at my desk and I'm like, I'm already exhausted. Just brain capacity wise, that's not good. If I'm starting Monday off like that, it's not good. So I think it's a lesson I continue to have to learn. And sometimes we do podcast episodes so that I can hear myself give advice that I need to take. And this is one of them.
Do you listen to yourself afterwards?
Sometimes.
Yeah. I listen to every episode. It's like a
No,
ball player watching
don't.
game tapes. Oh, I do.
You do not. Do you really?
I absolutely do. I watch every single episode.
For real?
100% for real.
I did not know you did that.
I do. Yeah. No, it's like it really is like game tape to me. So I always want to try to figure out what I can do, better or different. Plus, honestly, I do love the sound of my own voice. I know that that makes me sound like an egomaniac, but I do actually enjoy it. I find my voice,
Yeah, I
my own
do
voice
not enjoy
soothing.
that. So
Yeah. But anyway, before we really just jump off the rails here, I do think that it is a valuable thing for owners to sit down and look at, what are the sacrifices that you're making and why are you making them? There are some sacrifices that we all need to make at some point in our business. I'm not saying that you should never make a sacrifice on behalf of your business, but you need to understand why you're doing it and make sure that it really is a rational decision and not because you're putting off a more difficult conversation or decision that you might need to make, or because you are more worried about other people than yourself. You really do need to be a bit selfish as an owner. You are taking on a lot of risk and stress and all of that. And if you're not doing it for your own benefit, why?
sure.
You can go be miserable somewhere else and probably get paid more to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, two things for me. It's because I am so busy and I spend most of my days in meetings. And so because I spend most of my days in meetings, I have a running log of things that need to get done. And sometimes I don't get to that running log in time to delegate it to somebody. So it just needs to get done. And that for me is the cycle that's hard for me to break, because I'm just not going to say to somebody at 6:00 on a Friday night, hey, I need this by Monday. I'm just not going to do that. I would
Sure.
rather, right? So for me, I have to figure out a different way of working so that I can properly delegate and give people enough time. That's the cycle for me. But I work with, I have lots of friends who own agencies. I work with agency owners, and I see the cycle is less that and more control, and thinking that I'm the only one who can do this work. And when in fact that's not true. Maybe you're the only one who will do it a certain way, but you have to be able to delegate. And you can't grow a business if you don't do those things effectively.
Right, and they are I mean, these are definitely interrelated problems where you either you want the control because you feel like you can do it better, faster, or whatever. But then there is also the sacrifice piece of it, which is you're doing it because not so much because you think you could do it better than somebody else, but because you don't want to burden them with that. And in your case, where you're saying, I don't want to give someone something at 6 o'clock on a Friday that I need for Monday morning. That yes, that is making a sacrifice, but there are, as you say, there are reasons that you didn't get to something soon enough in order to pass it along. So I'm really more looking at the systemic
Yep.
sacrifices that you're
Yep.
making, where you make just a conscious decision that this group of tasks I'm not comfortable asking someone else to do, not because I can necessarily do it better, but because it would be painful for them to undertake. They would not enjoy it. They would stress out about it. So I'm gonna relieve them of that burden. That is not really your role. If it's not work that's appropriately sitting on your desk as an owner, if it's painful or difficult for someone, you need to figure out why, figure out if there's something that can be changed, or just figure out if it's something that they have to just suck it up and do. We all have that at
Right.
various points.
Yes.
Nobody
Yes.
loves every aspect of their
Yes.
job.
You have to sometimes
And,
suck it
and
up.
your
Yes.
your job is not to make people feel like they're living at a spa and enjoying every minute of employment. You're going to have some things that just need to be done.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about some examples. Like, I'm trying to think of an example that would fit in that I wouldn't want to ask somebody else to do.
I mean, there are a lot of administrative tasks, right? Particularly in a small agency, where you're like, well, I don't really want to ask so and so to do because this really isn't their job. It's not really your job either, though. So you need to figure out what makes more sense. Is it more impactful to have Joe do this because he's more junior, costs less, all of that kind of thing, or does it make more sense for you as the owner
Yep.
using time that is irreplaceable
Yep.
to do? And 9 times out of 10, it probably makes more sense to have Joe do it.
For sure. Yeah. And I think giving them the opportunity to learn and, even saying, this sucks. This job sucks. I'm sorry to have to ask. We just need to get it done. Can you help me out? That usually goes a long way. It's funny you say that because I hired a chief operating officer about a year and a half ago. And within the first 90 days, she came to me with a list of things she saw me doing and was like, you shouldn't be doing these things. And I was like, yeah, but they're administrative and there isn't anybody else. And she's like, I'm the chief operating officer. I will figure it out for you. And she literally took them off my plate. And I was like, oh, okay. But it didn't even occur to me because we don't have an admin person. It didn't occur to me to have to take those off of my plate. She's like, okay, but if I'm leading the operations team, the the admin work comes to my team. And I was like, okay, but then you have to do it because you don't have an operations team yet. And she's like, yes, but I'm cheaper than you are. Clients don't ask for my time. Like, she gave me all the reasons and I was like, okay, fine. So now her team handles all of it. But it took her coming to me literally with a list of things saying, I see that you're doing this, 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 and this, and you should not be doing those things. And like, they were sucky jobs. Nobody wants to do them, but she was very good about taking them from me. So
Right.
if you don't have an operations person, you probably have to do that work yourself.
Yeah, and it doesn't always have to be, pure, grunt work administrative. It can be things like writing proposals.
Yep.
I know a lot of
Yep.
owners who are like, I don't want to ask so and so to write this proposal. It's gonna take a lot of work, and it's gonna be. I'll just do this myself. That's the ideal thing you should be having someone else do. And frankly, you'll get a different perspective if you've got more people helping you on things like proposals.
Yep.
But definitely not the kind of thing that you should take on simply because you feel like you're helping your team. We talk about this when we talk about business development all the time, where we talk about owners taking it all on themselves and not asking for help, not inviting people to meetings because they don't want to waste their time on it. That doesn't make sense. So you can't be sacrificing yourself for the team in that way. You need to involve them because you'll actually get an added benefit from bringing them in, not just keeping stuff off of your plate.
Yeah. And I think we talked last week or the week before about how especially on a new business front, if you bring them in, even though you might feel guilty about it not being non-billable work or blah blah blah, they have the ability to A, become engaged with the prospect early on, B, understand the work that you're doing, and C, to your point, give it a different perspective. So I think there's a big opportunity there for us to be able to say, okay, everybody loves this work, but it's going to help us, it's going to help the business, it's going to help you in your career.
Yeah. I mean, the other place where I see a lot of sacrifices being made by owners is when it comes to org charts reporting structure. So a lot of times I see owners who will say, well, I've got so and so, and geez, I can't really find somewhere in the organization for them to report, so I'm just going to have them report into me. I'll
Oh,
take care of that so
no,
that someone else
no.
doesn't have to figure out how to deal with so and so, either because so and so is maybe really talented, but also maybe difficult to manage, or maybe they work on stuff that doesn't really fit with any of your existing managers. So you're like, I don't really want to give, design to my writing team or whatever. But, sometimes it just makes sense because you shouldn't be expanding the number of direct reports that you have, particularly junior direct reports. Anytime I see junior direct reports to the owner themselves, it's usually because they're, in their minds, making some kind of sacrifice to help the team by having those people report to them. And that's really dangerous because it encourages a very flat org chart, and people are like, "Oh, flat org charts, that's great. We all,"
Right.
no, flat
No,
org charts are
I
bad. Now, you
agree.
don't need
Yes.
17 layers in a
Yes.
small organization,
Right.
but if everybody is reporting into the owner, or most people are reporting into the owner, it's usually because either they're a control freak or because they feel like they don't want to burden people with management. And the truth is, if you're going to grow your team, they have to be burdened by those things in order to learn and grow themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think there might be a rule of thumb on how many direct reports you have. It's 5. I
One
have fi
hand.
I have 5, and it's a
So it's
lot.
a rule of hand, not
It's a lot.
thumb.
I have 5 direct reports, and it's a lot. That's a lot of
Yeah.
people, and it's a lot of different personalities and, like, all of those things. So I think you have to think about that too. Like, if you have an agency of 8 and they all report to you, that's way too many. You cannot manage that many people.
Yeah, and again, you think that you're sacrificing by and helping out by taking on that management load, and you are, but it's not helping anybody.
Right. Right.
Because the reality is those people on your team, you no doubt got some of those people who have real potential, and they're going to have to learn to manage at some point. In an ideal world, they would come into your organization with excellent management training and experience. That doesn't happen in the agency world.
No, it does not.
And in small agencies, you generally can't afford to hire that kind of talent that's coming in and having
Right.
that good
Right.
management training. But if they come from other agencies, they probably don't have good management training anyway.
Yep. 100%. Yes. Yeah. Although I will say that my life changed when I could start to afford to hire people with experience in those
Sure,
kinds
but
of
there's a difference
things.
between just having experience and having management training as part
Yeah,
of that,
well, that's
because
what I meant is
agencies
yeah.
are just miserable about
Yep.
trying to teach anybody basic management skills.
Yeah, I know I told this story just a couple weeks ago about how I was trained in leadership, quote unquote,
Yes. Yeah.
by putting me in charge of someone who was on a PIP. That is not leadership training. That is not management training. That is none of those things. But that's how they quote unquote train. Not not effective at all.
No, I mean, someday I will share some of my management training stories. They are brutal. They make no sense. As I look back on them, I'm like, really? Someone thought that was a good idea? Okay.
Okay. All right. Right.
But I
Yes.
mean, it did help me get to where I am. So I guess I should be grateful, but not how I would ever advise
Right.
people
Yeah.
to do on the job training for management. Um, in any case, so I think we need to be mindful of the sacrifices that we're making, and think them through in such a way that we say, look, I'm not just solving a today problem.
Right.
And so you need to be looking at it over that longer term and saying, what are the potential consequences to me making this sacrifice? It's not just about the relief that you're giving your team in the short term. It's, does it set them up for success for the future? Does it set you up for success for the future? Does it set the business up for success? Is it making you happy about the business that you are running? And I know I always come back to this, but you have to get satisfaction out of it.
Yes.
Not that every minute has to be joyful and fun and whoo. That's not me. However, you need to be getting what you want from it. And that is probably not torturing yourself by taking on all of these tasks that you think are too awful to give to somebody else.
Right.
Think about that for a minute. It's so
Yes.
bad, you don't want someone who you are paying to do it, so you will do it yourself.
It's a
Where is the
very,
logic?
very good point. There is no logic in that. And I think you're right. And I think we all tend to do this, myself included. And it is a cycle that needs to break. I know I've talked about this before, but one of the things that I do every quarter is I sit down with my task list and I split it into 3 groups. Things that are on my list that only I can do, things that are on my list that I enjoy doing but I probably don't need to do, and things that are on my list that I absolutely should not be doing. The last list needs to be delegated immediately. And things
Sure.
just get there, right? Like throughout the quarter, like things just get there and without me paying attention. And so I delegate those immediately. The middle one usually includes things like blog writing. I'm not going to give that up.
Yep.
Do I need to be doing it? Probably not, but it's something I enjoy and I'm passionate about it. And so I'm not going to give that up. So that will continue to stay on my middle list. But then there are things that I shouldn't be that I may enjoy doing, but shouldn't be doing. So I delegate that. But it's something I have to constantly do and I have to do it every quarter. And that's how you start to understand, oh gosh, this got on my list. And for whatever reason, because I didn't want to burden somebody with it. I didn't have time to delegate it. Whatever reason it's on your list, get it off of there every quarter.
Yeah.
Do that.
I mean, in fact, it's probably a good exercise to just walk through and look at all of the things that you do in groups, not
Yep.
individual, and just ask yourself why you are the one doing it.
Yep. Yep. Yes.
Because I think that would then help you to build the list that you're talking about. But that simple question, why, it really can help you in a lot of different ways in how you run the business. That's why there's a whole book, I think, about that. You need to understand those things. And once you do, then you'll sit there a lot of times and say, oh, well, that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do it differently.
Yeah. Well, this was very good for me because over the weekend, I didn't want to ask our web firm to create a landing page template for us because it takes them forever to respond. And so I decided I was going to do it myself. And I broke the whole website and had to ask the web firm for help anyway. So there you go. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's really
Well
great.
done.
Thank
Well
you
done.
very much. Yep. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure everybody appreciated that sacrifice that you made.
Yeah. Especially me 8
Yeah.
hours later. Yeah. So
Yeah.
do as I say, not as I do.
I was going to say, we should have a whole episode on the do as I say, not as I do, because there's
This
any
is
number
also
of things
something.
that we have talked about over the years that I'm fairly sure you and I do not practice.
Oh, for sure. Yes. I
So.
do have one-to-ones though every week.
Excellent.
Yes.
I've always been religious about, well, at least in modern history, been religious about it
In
because
modern
I
history.
do feel so strongly about it.
Yes, I agree.
So, all right. Well, on that note, glad we could help you out here. I'll send you a bill for, having an episode that
Thank you.
helps you run your
I
own
appreciate
business
it. Yeah,
more effectively.
I appreciate it.
And do go back and listen to this episode because, it's good to watch the game tape.
No, not gonna do it.
On that note, this will wrap up this episode. I'm Chip Griffin.
I'm Gini Dietrich.
And it depends.